Hey everyone, it's really good to have you here today. I hope you're doing all right because something big just happened in the world of Social Security and disability benefits, and most people still haven't heard the real story behind it. The Trump administration has officially walked away from a major policy change that would have completely reshaped how older Americans qualify for disability benefits. And I'm talking about a change that could have affected hundreds of thousands of people who depend on SSDI or SSI just to make it through the month. The surprising part isn't just that the plan was abandoned, it's why. There's a twist in this whole situation that even many experts didn't see coming. Before we get deep into it, let me ask you something real quick. Do you personally think age should matter when determining disability benefits? No right or wrong answer, just your honest opinion. Drop it in the comments. I'm really curious where everyone stands. Now, let me walk you through what actually happened. This whole thing started quietly. Behind closed doors, the Social Security Administration had been working on a new rule, something that would completely rewrite how disability claims are judged in the United States. And older workers were the main group who would have felt the impact. The proposal was simple on paper but massive in reality. The plan was to remove, or at least heavily reduce, the role of age in deciding whether someone qualifies for disability. And anyone who has ever done physical work for 20, 30, 40 years knows exactly why that matters. If you're 50, 55, 60 years old and your body has worn out from decades of heavy labor construction, mining, caregiving, manufacturing, starting over in some new career isn't just hard, it's often impossible. Age has always been part of disability decisions because it reflects reality. Not everyone in their 50s can suddenly sit at a computer and type for 8 hours, or retrain in a field they've never worked in. But this plan would have changed everything. And the truth is, this idea had been floating around since Trump's first term. It kept resurfacing in different forms. The argument coming from the administration was that they wanted to modernize the system. And to be fair, part of that was true. The job data Social Security uses is decades old. Some job listings don't even exist anymore, like nut sorter or telephone quotation clerk. Those jobs are literally gone from the world, so updating the list wasn't the bad part. That needed to happen. The real issue was pretending that age doesn't matter. Some officials argued that people live longer now, that work is less physical, and that older Americans could move into lighter jobs, office work, call centers, even gig jobs like Uber or DoorDash. Sure, that works for a small number of people. But for most older Americans dealing with back injuries, joint damage, heart conditions, nerve problems, mobility issues, switching careers isn't realistic. Many don't have the training. Many don't have transportation. And if you live in a rural area, good luck finding a desk job within 50 miles. So when word about the rule started spreading in October 2025, people reacted fast. Disability advocates were furious. Lawmakers were shocked. Families who rely on SSDI felt blindsided. More than 160 members of Congress stepped in, begging Social Security to stop the plan. And when analysts ran the numbers, the estimates were frightening. Nearly 750,000 people could have lost disability benefits over the next decade. Another 80,000 widows, widowers, and children would have lost benefits tied to someone else's work history. That's not a small policy adjustment, that's entire communities losing rent money, medication access, and health coverage. Older workers in states like West Virginia, Kentucky, Mississippi, Arkansas's places where physical work is the backbone of the economy would have been hit the hardest. And ironically, many of those areas include Trump's strongest supporters. Internal polling showed those very voters would have strongly opposed this rule. And then, something unexpected happened. Around mid-November, a group of disability advocates and attorneys were invited to the White House. One of them was attorney Jason Turkish. They walked into the meeting with real stories from real people, not charts or graphs. One story was about a former coal miner named Christopher Tyner. He lost his leg in a work accident and was depending on disability to survive. Under the new rule, he was at risk of losing those benefits. Someone in the White House had read his story earlier that day. And right during that meeting, according to the people in the room, something shifted. Russell Vought, one of the main officials pushing for the policy, suddenly said, "This isn't going to be happening." He reversed himself right then and there. And that single moment changed the direction of the entire policy. Shortly after, Social Security Commissioner Frank Besignano confirmed privately that the rule was done, finished, not moving forward. The White House and the SSA were aligned, and the plan was being abandoned. There was no press conference, no big public announcement. But insiders made it clear, the rule was dead. So what does this mean for you and your family? First, older disabled workers are protected. There won't be sudden reevaluations under tougher standards. You won't wake up one morning and discover the rules changed underneath your feet. And it means people who rely on disability Medicare won't lose access before age 65. That's huge because for many, disability Medicare is what allows them to get medication, surgery, or treatment they absolutely need. If disability benefits were cut, many people would have been forced into early retirement just to get medical care. And taking early retirement reduces Social Security payments permanently. So, avoiding this rule protects people for the long term, not just the short term. And remember, the places that would have suffered the most are rural communities where heavy physical labor is common and healthcare is already limited. Now, what about the future? The Social Security Administration still wants to update the job database. Republicans and Democrats both agree it needs to happen. But disability advocates want to make sure age stays an important factor. Because treating a 55-year-old like a 25-year-old? That's not how real life works. Commissioner Besignano has also said he wants to reduce backlog times. As of late 2025, nearly 867,000 disability cases were pending. People were waiting more than 200 days on average just to get a decision. That's more than half a year living in uncertainty. And maybe the most powerful lesson here is that one story in the right, Place 1, coal miners' story saved hundreds of thousands of people from losing benefits. This wasn't reversed because of politics. It wasn't reversed because of polling. It was reversed because people spoke up. Disability advocates, attorneys, lawmakers, everyday Americans, they all raised their voices. And the system listened. Right now, the rule is gone. Older workers are safe. Age protections remain. The job system will still be updated, but not at the cost of hurting vulnerable people. And there's even talk of doing a public town hall to rebuild trust between the disability community and Social Security. If this helped you understand what really happened, take a second to like this video and subscribe. It really does help keep this community strong. And share this with someone who needs to hear the truth today. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.